Welcome, everybody. This is John with Living in Our 50s, and today we're going to talk about the Let Them Theory book again with Mel Robbins. It's great. It's a great book. Chapter 3 is great. But y'all, today it's episode 35. We've gone 35 days. And this is what? February, golly, I should check the date before I get on, right? February 4th, 2026. Episode 35. So, yeah, today had a great workout with Maya and learned a lot. There's a lot of stuff I could have been doing last week at home when the gym was closed. I could have really helped me quite a bit. So, anyhow, if you haven't ever looked into getting a personal trainer, I encourage you to do so. You can learn a lot from them. So. But today, like I said earlier, we're going to talk about, trying to steady my leg, talk about the Let Them Theory book. And I've got some notes here, so just want to make sure I don't miss anything because there's some good stuff in here. I'm going to angle that up here. There we go. So what is chapter 3? Well, chapter 3, still in the Let Them Theory book, it's other people's behavior. This is a big one for me, y'all. So anyone who's ever worked with me knows that this is something that I really struggle with. And people tried to tell me that I don't need to let other people's behavior or the way they do things affect me, but I never listened. So, but have you ever noticed how exhausted you get? Not from your own life, but from other people's behavior. What they say, what they don't say, and how they act, how unpredictable they are. Well, Greek Stoic philosopher Epictetus, I think is how you say it, it's not what happens to you, but how you react. What does that mean exactly? Well, it means that your personal power is in how you react. What he meant was simple. Your personal power doesn't live in controlling people. Your personal power does not live in controlling people. It lives in controlling your response. Other people are going to act how they act. They're going to disappoint you, irritate you, misunderstand you. And chapter 3 reminds us when you let their behavior control your peace, you give away your power. The Bible never tells us to manage other people. It tells us to guard our hearts. What is that? Proverbs 3:12. Should have looked that up. 3:14, 3:21. Somewhere in there. I'll put it on the screen. I cannot remember, but it says, above all else, guard your heart, for it is the wellspring of life. I remember the verse, just can't remember the reference right now. Should have looked that one up. Yeah, but the Bible... Where was I at? The Bible never tells us to manage other people. It tells us to guard our hearts. Jesus encountered all kinds of behavior, but he never let it pull him off purpose. So when someone's behavior stresses you out today, just remember, you don't control them. You control your reaction. And sometimes the strongest thing you can say is, let them. That's what chapter 3 of the Let Them Theory is really about. This chapter points out something we don't always want to admit. A huge amount of our stress comes from trying to manage, predict, react to other people's behavior. We take it personally, we overthink it, and we let it ruin our peace. I can't tell you how many times people have told me this, and I said, well, it sounds easy, but how do you do it? Well, Mel Robbins says something simple and powerful. Let them. Let them be moody. Let them be late. Let them be immature. Let them be whatever. And I know in this chapter, she talks about the guy in the plane behind her just coughing openly, not covering his mouth, and that's a big one for me. But I mean, there's some others like I get to practice this a lot now at the gym. We got all this new equipment and stuff, but even with the old equipment, people just sit on a piece of equipment, scrolling through their phone or talking to somebody and just disregarding that you're waiting for that. I mean, I remember one day I waited 15 minutes for a machine. This guy did 3. I don't remember, 3 or 4 or something like that. He just did 3 or 4, not reps, but well, maybe it is reps, sets. Okay, reps. He did 4 reps. Before I got there to look, waiting for the machine, I kept working out on other machines around there and redoing some of the same machines, but it became obvious that he wasn't leaving anytime soon. So I was just camped out. Well, Maya told me how to just go up to him and say, hey, how many more reps you got? Or how many more sets you got? Or something like that, to kind of let him know, hey, I'm waiting on this machine. So I tried that and it worked. It was a lady talking to another lady. They were just catching up. They hadn't seen each other in a while. But, let them act immature, because the moment you stop making their behavior mean something about you, the stress starts to lift. Let me repeat that. Because the moment you stop making their behavior mean something about you, the stress starts to lift. Because the moment you stop making their behavior mean something about you, the stress starts to lift. Other people's behavior is more just information about that person. Should not be considered a burden to you. You can notice it without carrying it. Does that make sense? You can notice what they're doing without carrying that. So let's just remember what I say earlier. Someone's behavior is stressing you out today. Remind yourself, I don't control them, I control me. I control my response. I control how I react, how I will internalize it, how I will, do you want that to affect you for the rest of the day? And sometimes the most peaceful thing you can say is let them. I mean, it's a good look at chapter 3. I haven't listened to chapter 4 yet. May listen to that tomorrow. Tomorrow's vlog may be on that. I don't know. We're just going with whatever. This is episode 35 of the vlog for this year, for 2026. And every day that I do this, I'm trying to think ahead. I don't want this to get just kind of routine and this is how it is and that kind of stuff. So things are going to be different all the time. Hopefully y'all are getting some interest out of this. I mean, I've got a few new subscribers. That's great. I'd love it if you would subscribe. It does help the channel to get out to more people when you like or subscribe, even sharing this. If you think somebody has value in this, do it. I mean, I opened up another book by Dallas Willard and I was reading through it. And because I just remember when I was working on my ordination, I read a book of his. I can't remember the name of it now. I just picked it up earlier today. Yeah. I just remember a lot of stuff. This was kind of going along with kind of some of the same stuff. I don't know why it popped in my head, but it did. And so I look forward to maybe rereading that book and maybe doing a brief overview of that. Of the stuff, the highlights of that book with you guys. But we got life group tonight, so I'm getting this vlog recorded early so I can go in. We're having it at our house. I think I told y'all that yesterday. And we're doing a study in there. What are we doing? It's been so long since we met. I think it's on the Book of Acts, but I love that one too. So we're hosting, so I got to get back inside and get things ready and eat and all that kind of stuff. But, I just wanted y'all to know that it is it's our reaction that we got to worry about. What is it? Let's see. Have you ever noticed how exhausted you get, not from your own life, but from other people's behavior? What they say, what they don't say, how they act, how unpredictable, that's a hard word, let's use English, how unpredictable they are. You know, and what is that quote from Epictetus? It's not what happens to you, but how you react. I cannot stress to y'all. I cannot stress to y'all how many times somebody has said that to me, you know, about it's up to me. I can only control me. It's how I react. Gosh, the older we get, I guess the wiser we become. But I mean, there was sometimes younger people saying it to me. I can remember this lady, Tori. She was a CFO at the last place I worked at. And she'd always tell me, you control you. You don't control them. And I just like, all right, whatever. But I always want to try to control people, and it never works out. Never does. So if you're one of those people and you're just getting stressed out over things because of how people are, you know, I love the story she tells about the grocery store where you got the slow clerk and all that kind of stuff. I'll be in a store and sometimes I'm not lying. Y'all, I will get into a lot. Well, I guess it was probably before self-checkout, but even with self-checkout, I think there's different rows that you can get in sometimes, but I will measure myself to somebody else that we kind of got in line at the same time and see if they get through before I do. And I'm always disappointed when they make it through before I do, or I win when they're still waiting, you know? Yeah. You guys, y'all have a great evening, a great morning, great day, whatever. You'll be seeing this. This will be uploaded on the 5th, February 5th. Is that right? Yeah, February 5th. So, as I always say, if the Lord wills, we will see you in the next vlog. God bless. Y'all have a great evening, great day.